Oh, no. Eat that dog.
That's what I'm talking about.
No.
Thank God, YouTube has changed its monetization policies. Otherwise, there's no way I could show that clip to start the show. Week 3 of the preseason in the books. The roster cuts are happening right now. Godspeed to all those men out there chasing your dreams. I'm Brandon. The preseason does matter, Perna, and today I'm going to give you the stock report for players, for teams, all the important shit that went down this last week. If your last name is Sanders, your stock is dropping like Fartcoin. Wait, is Fartcoin holding value? I don't know. Stock up, though, the Toronto Argonauts, who have the rights to both Sanders brothers. Just wait until Trump tariffs their asses, though, Canada. They're going to be the most expensive players in Canadian football history. What I do know is Jackson Dart looks good. The Chiefs starters look too good. Some receivers continue to impress, like tiny man Tez Johnson, Dante Thornton, and Isaac Tesla. Most importantly, you guys continue to impress me. We're 2,000 subs away from hitting 775,000. The goal was to get to 775 before the season started. I didn't think we could do it. We're gonna do it. 10,000 of you subscribed this month, and now we're on a warpath to 1 million. So let's start the show. Today's episode is sponsored by PrizePicks and my sign-up code TGS. PrizePicks said I can keep this ad quick for you. So I set a week 1 lineup. I'm taking more passing yards on Bo Nix, Aaron Rodgers in a revenge game, and Joe Flacco versus that Bengals defense. Football starts next week, so use my code TGS when you download the PrizePicks app. Link below. Make your first $5 deposit and PrizePicks will give you $50 in lineups. Also, the Dak Prescott Max discount is good until game day. Make sure you take advantage of his half passing yard for week 1. We already hit 250 signups at PrizePicks, so we're 150 away from our next big TGS bonus, which is at 400 signups. The goal, at least 6,000 this season to make sure PrizePicks falls in love with me or develops Stockholm Syndrome. Stock up Trey Hendrickson's bank account. That's right, he got an extension to stay with the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals fans, you can finally rejoice because Trey's gonna be here for, one more year? It's a 1-year contract, $30 million just for this season, and then he's gonna be a free agent after this year. Stock down the Bengals front office for being too fucking cheap to give Trey Hendrickson guaranteed money beyond this season. I think he's got a few good years of football left in him, but Bengals fans, you do get Trey this year. That's nice. Because for your defense to have a chance, he needs to be on the field. And while it's not ideal, while he's probably going to bounce after this year, you do get the sack leader from last season on your terrible, terrible defense for this year. Stock up Matthew Golden. We've all seen the clips from training camp, but Matthew Golden's stock is officially rising after he hauled in this great catch. That's the only catch he needed to make to convince me the Packers' receiving problems are officially over. Romeo Doubs found the end zone as well, and I have to ask, does Romeo have a Guardian cap that is bigger than everyone else's? I know he needs it, but it looks huge. Knowing the Packers converted Bo Melton to corner, maybe they should wait and see if Seattle releases safety Ty Akata, who made this ridiculous one-handed interception, and convert a safety to receiver. Number 2 receiver behind Matthew Golden. Stock down. Probably Jalen Milroe a little bit. He did throw a touchdown, but Milroe was sacked 5 times, and the real issue was ball security. He lost 3 fumbles on the day. If the Packers play the Seahawks' 3rd-string quarterback every week, they're going to have the best defense in the NFL. That's my prediction. The good news for Jalen Milroe is that his last name is not Sanders, and it's totally okay. He had a rough preseason game because he's a 3rd-round draft pick, and development is to be expected. Stock up in Carolina, seeing a Jay Plummer wearing number 16. Thank you, Panthers. I'm a better man every day that I think about Jake Plummer.
You know, I had these dreams and visions of one day when everybody would be talking to each other on screens.
As James Taylor once said, I'm gone to Carolina with Jake Plummer in my mind. Stock down, NFL safety. With all the emphasis around keeping the head safe, the NFL still allows pregnant men to play the game. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I don't think it's safe to play when carrying a child. Let me introduce you to Yaya Black. His stock is going up. This 6'6", 330-pound defensive lineman had 2 sacks and earned himself a Baldy's breakdown.
Here he is on the cock nose. I didn't know anybody even taught the cock nose anymore. Look at him hold the point. Strong at the point. And then when he gets to the ball carrier, they always go backwards. Joe Green is smiling. He's like, that's how you play football in Pittsburgh.
Yaya Black was taken in the 5th out of Iowa. And if he keeps getting to the QB, we can all scream, yeah, yeah. It's another big black sack.
I didn't know anybody even taught the cock nose anymore.
4th round rookie running back Trevor Etienne dodged almost the entire Steelers defense on this big run. I hope he carves out a role for himself with Jonathan Brooks missing the entire season. An explosive player behind Chuba Hubbard is key for Bryce Young. Stock down, whoever leaked the Jalen Polk injury news.
I think there was a report today that Jalen Polk will have to have season-ending shoulder surgery. Can you add anything to that?
No. I don't know, other than I'd like to find out where some of these come from. You know, some of these rats around here, so we'll figure that out.
Mike Vrabel is going to sniff out the rat, and to me that means he's going to be waiting for that guy like Mark Wahlberg at the end of The Departed.
Okay.
Stock down, football fans falling for Jameis Winston again. Guys, he's supposed to look good playing against backups. He was the #1 overall pick. I can't think of a single player who gets as much love for not being good at football as Jameis Winston. Maybe Shedeur Sanders. Is Jameis unintentionally hilarious? Yes. Is he fun to watch play? Very. Would I rather watch a quarterback who every other play is either a touchdown or a pick versus a dink and dunk artist? Yes, I would. Oh God, did I just convince myself Jameis should start 17 games? I did, he's too much fun.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Stock up Jackson Dart. Dart has been great on the field, except the one time where he did not slide, which sent him to the blue medical tent. That's when Jameis came in and threw 1 touchdown on 1 throw, but Dart is truly a star. He got clips passed around the internet for how he hurried up the process in the medical evaluation. He fed Jameis the W. If you're getting that kind of traction in the 3rd preseason game, man, New York media is going to send you into the stratosphere. Then they're going to tear you to shreds the moment you flounder. But the rise will be fast, guys. Assuming the Giants get rid of Jalen Hyatt. Stock down, 2 drops for Hyatt. That's why I prefer to stay at a Marriott. Hyatt's clearly trying to sabotage Jackson Dart, okay? And convince the coaches to start Jameis since he's only catching his passes. Dart's stock is higher than ever. We all know that. And if he turns out to be a really good NFL quarterback, I will never let the Browns or Steelers forget it because they both had chances to draft him. Stock up. The Tommy Cutlets era may be coming to an end in New York, but he went out with a gabagool. Danny DeVito tossed 3 touchdowns for $198 and had 3 incompletions. If there is a football god, you will not break up this quarterback room.
They call us the 3 amigos, but somebody had the hat trick today. We turn it up, and we got the young bucks, and we eat W's.
Send Russell Wilson packing because he's clearly the odd man out there. Eagles, Jets, not too much to take away from this game. Neither team really played any starters, but I did notice this slippery motherfucker, Jamal Pritchett, who rolled Eli Ricks twice. First he breaks his ankles, then he breaks his teammate's ankles, which sends his teammate flying back into his ankles. From now on, whenever I hear someone say, you just got Rick-rolled, this is what I'm gonna think about. Sorry, Eli Ricks. Falcons Cowboys, stock up, Micah Parsons' agent.
When we wanted to send the details to the agent told us to stick it up our ass.
Who forced Jerry Jones to go on a rehearsed media tour to try and convince all of us that it's normal for Jerry Jones to refuse to negotiate with a player's agent. During the game, Micah Parsons was seen laying on a training table This is exactly how all of our spouses look on the couch at home when we try and explain to them why the fourth quarter of a Cowboys-Falcons preseason game is actually important for our 16-man Dynasty Fantasy League. Stock up kickers, Brandon Aubrey and Joey Sly both nailed 64 and 63-yard field goals. Throw in Cam Little's 70-yarder from a few weeks ago, and we have seen 3 kicks that would all live in the NFL record books. Stock down these idiots for wasting their once-in-a-lifetime kicks on the preseason. Joe Milton tossed an FDR in this game and had arguably his best preseason game of the season. He rushed for a TD as well. If the Cowboys see him in the regular season, though, it means things have fallen apart. Stock down. The moment it looked like the Cowboys found a running back in rookie Jaden Blue, he injured his ankle. It doesn't appear serious, that's the good news, and I think the best run of the game came by way of Phil Maffa. Micah Parsons and the Cowboys run game, those are the big question marks. After seeing this clip, though, I'll never call him Michael Penis Jr. again.
Hey, Michael Penis! Let's go, bro!
Hey, have a good season, bro. Yeah, have a good season. Huh?
What you call me?
I said Michael Penis.
For 1 week, I will never call him that name again.
Just went a little bit too far.
Stock down the Falcons for signing my hero Ben DiNucci, only to cut him after this game. I still have no idea why Atlanta opted to not play Michael Penix at all this preseason. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes both played a few series. If Andy Reid and Patty Mahomes are getting some work in, why the fuck is a second-year quarterback beyond that? The best thing you can do for your big Penix is warm it up first, Raheem. Oh crap, I didn't even make it 2 sentences. I'm screwed.
Just went a little bit too far.
Van Jefferson down by the river in a top speed of 22 miles per hour, which is faster than some actual vans go. Stock down the poor fuck trying to tackle Van Jefferson that whiffed twice at the point of attack. If an announcer says this about you in the preseason,
They shook him completely out of his underwear.
you're gonna need to tell Brian Flores you played through an injury that day. Tell him your ACL was torn up, your Achilles was torn, and you just found out your dog is dying. You need an excuse.
They're Minnesota Vikings crying on the field.
The big news with the Vikings, of course, is the addition of quarterback Carson Wentz, who finally has a new team. Stock down the Vikings for needing to sign Carson Wentz. Minnesota then promptly traded Sam Howell to the Eagles to acquire a 5th-rounder from Philly. Philly made this move because Tanner McKee broke his thumb, and Howell's a bit of an insurance policy to start the season. The good news is Tanner McKee won't have to start the season on IR. Stock up undrafted former University of Minnesota quarterback Max Brosmer, who is extremely impressive in the preseason, earned himself a roster spot on either the practice squad or the 53 for Minnesota. I don't know how it'll shake out exactly. As someone who tried to play college football 25 last season with Tim Grissy leading the Golden Gophers, I'm really proud Bosmer could do what I couldn't and make it to the pros. Bears Chiefs, stock down the keyboard warriors out there evaluating Caleb Williams. Caleb had a rough first series, and there were a lot of people just itching to shit on the dude. Yes, he took a bad sack after holding onto the ball for an eternity, where there was tight coverage by KC. He and the Bears offense bounced back, though, with the scoring drive later. This goes back to what I said in my predictions episode. Ben Johnson will have this offense clicking, and Caleb Williams will figure it out, but there's going to be some growing pains along the way. I don't think it happens until midway through the season. I believe we have to view Caleb Williams as a rookie. Maybe even below rookie status, because he has to unlearn all the dumb shit Shane Waldron and Matt Eberflus taught him last year. Stock down the Chiefs, because their offensive line looks really, really good again. Patrick Mahomes looked scary when he had time. He looked horrifying while improvising. And worst of all, the refs appeared ready to allow his linemen to cheat while protecting him. Trey Smith made 2 nasty blocks in a row. The second block there is definitely illegal, and it's a great time to remind everyone, well, of Devil Magic coffee. I've got the Devil Magic for the Chiefs, but I've also got Fuck the Refs coffee over at my website, benchwarmershop.com, and we just dropped our new cursed logos All of these shirts are available. We even got a poster of all the cursed logos. I think we only got like 100 of these posters because I didn't know who would want them. Benchwarmershop.com though. We're ready for the 2025 season. Check it out. Thank you so much, Rachel, for all of these designs. You fucking crushed it this year, Rachel. You crushed it. Stock down, Isaiah Pacheco, who appeared to be ready to finally top Gus Frerotte for finding the worst way to get a concussion in a football game. If Pacheco played for any other team, I'd love his seizure-like running style, but I hate him! And I hope that trash can comes back for your ass, Pacheco. I hope it does. Stock up, Ja'Day Walker. And the conclusion of this game, Walker not only had an absolutely ridiculous sideline catch, he also caught the game winner from newly paid backup QB Tyson Bagent, who has been a really fun story. I think we were all happy to see Tyson get paid, and then to win this game like this was thrilling. Shout out to Walker, who certainly channeled his own devil magic after catching that touchdown. Is he levitating? Are you levitating? Yeah, fight fire with fire, Walker. Ravens, Commanders stock down the backup quarterbacks in Washington, Josh Johnson and Sam Hartman, who combined for 3 picks in this game. Now, I do trust the most journeyman quarterback in Josh Johnson, but if anything happens to Jaden Daniels this season, I am genuinely worried for PFT's well-being. The Ravens might have found their franchise kicker in rookie Tyler Loop, who blasted this 61-yarder. He really might be the second coming of Justin Tucker. But let's be honest, any coming of Justin Tucker is a problem. Stock up, Washington's Colston Yankoff, who had a 52-yard catch and run through the middle of the Ravens defense. And once again, the Ravens are undone by a Yankoff.
Colston Yankoff. Yeah. You can't say that on TV.
If there is a God, please put Yankoff on the same team as Michael Penix. Stock up, congrats Washington, you finally extended receiver Terry McLaurin, the Commanders' top ball catchers, returning for an additional 3 years and $96 million. You can all breathe a sigh of relief, Commanders fans. Scary Terry is staying home.
I'm super high on Denver, but not only or just because of their defense.
Broncos, Saints. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, it does not matter, but it's still nice to see the Broncos had the number 1 offense and number 1 defense this preseason, both by pass and run offense and pass and run defense. And Next Gen's newest stat, just general big dickiness here in Denver. Bo Nix looks ready for the regular season. This is the most elite check down throw you'll ever see. If someone calls Bo Nix a check down merchant, I'm just going to show him this play. Cortland Sutton looks ready for the regular season. J.K. Dobbins is going to be the Broncos' starting running back, and I hope he's great because I'm really not sure about the depth at the running back position for the moment. Stock up the Broncos' depth at the edge position. He's been flying under the radar since Denver drafted him, but Q Robinson out of Alabama in the 4th round, he can get to the quarterback on cue. On Q Robinson. Yes, a family-friendly nickname for all of you. Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, Jonah Ellis, DeAndre Tillman, assuming the Broncos don't trade him or release him, and Q Robinson. I haven't felt this good about Denver's pass rushers since they had Vaughn, DeMarcus Ware, Shaq Barrett, and Shane Ray. So it's been a long time. Stock down the Saints QB room. I think they really need to add a veteran there. Release Jake Haener and honestly see if Denver would be willing to trade you Jarrett Stidham. He could start week 1 for you. He had an incredible preseason with silly EPA numbers to back it up, and he would be a great mentor for Tyler Shuck or Spencer Rattler. Neither look truly ready to start week 1. I love Stidham, and I prefer he stay in Denver just in case something happened to God bless Bo Nix, but his value's probably at an all-time high. And Sam Ehlinger scored with the scramble and throw that Shedeur Sanders wished he had in his bag of tricks, which takes us to the Browns. Stock down, Shedeur Sanders, Shilo Sanders. The Sanders in general, Even ESPN not knowing that this was a Barry Sanders jersey.
Let's get into it, because obviously this ties to one Shedeur Sanders who balled out in his first preseason game.
This is the Barry Sanders.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
That's like Deshaun Watson not knowing what a fucking settlement is, ESPN. Rough week for Sanders, though. God, I hope Bernie's okay. Shedeur had a bad game. There's no getting around it, all right? He took bad sacks. He couldn't get rid of the football. He missed on throws, and he had bad protection. Honestly, I think Shedeur has been studying the wrong quarterback in Cleveland. And I know what you're thinking, Brandon. There's been 39 of them. Which one are you talking about? Even when Shedeur did avoid all of the sacks, the ball just couldn't stick to his target's hands. If Shedeur doesn't learn to climb the pocket and get rid of the ball quickly, his career's going to be short. He had 3.96 seconds to throw against the Rams, the longest any QB has had in the preseason since they started making up all this bullshit in 2013. Stock up the Shedeur Sanders circus. Oh God, I love the crazy and dumb attention and the takes surrounding this circus, okay? I like the conspiracy that Kevin Stefanski sabotaged him. I like the conspiracy about the 4 linemen blocking for him, getting released because the Sanders brand is so big that they had no other choice. That's what happens to a lot of guys, though, playing late in games. They get cut. And if Stefanski was okay with Deshaun Watson, I don't think Shedeur's so bad he tried to sabotage him. I love that the conspiracies are on opposite sides as well. The line didn't protect him, so they got fired. The coach tried to make him look bad, so they kept him on the roster? Pick a lane. The unfortunate truth is the Browns' depth chart has been right the whole time, hasn't it? Shedeur just might be the 4th best QB they have. Fuck. We were all wrong about everything. Stock up Dillon Gabriel. Okay, let's talk about the other rookie who's actually played well in Cleveland in the last 2 games. Gabriel cooked this week. He threw a touchdown, and he's put together 2 solid performances. I think Gabriel has looked more composed and decisive with his opportunities. Joe Flacco was surgical, going 9 for 10, throwing a TD as well. And oh shit, is Joe actually turning into a mentor? Joe Flacco, the leader?
That's part of being a rookie. You know, you're going to get thrown into situations that, you know, maybe you don't think are ideal. I got thrown into a game against New England with 2 minutes left. I fumbled on the 1-yard line. They scored 2 plays later, and that was John Harbaugh's first preseason game, and he was not happy. I mean, I wasn't happy either, but like, hey, like, it's part of the game. It's part of what makes a football player is learning how to like deal with those situations and learn from them.
Colts, Bengals, stock up Riley Leonard and Laquan Treadwell? What's better than facing a Bengals defense? Facing a non-starting Bengals defense, and Riley Leonard took advantage, going 15-20 for 189 yards and a TD. Maybe there's a glimmer of hope for Colts faithful after all. Laquan Treadwell, he's been in the NFL since 2016. He's kind of a famous first-round bust for the Vikings, but I love a dude fighting to stay in the league, and Treadwell had 6 catches for 116 yards and a touchdown. Stock down, just teams holding their starting and backup quarterbacks out of the preseason. I love that they've decided even the backup is too valuable to get snaps in the final game. Jake Browning, get those pads off. It's time to see Desmond Ridder and Peyton Thorne get some action in Cincinnati. Houston, Detroit, the Hendon Hooker era may be ending soon in Detroit, but the Isaac Tesla era is just beginning. Tesla scored again and hit us all with the worm celebration. The Lions have a ton of weapons right now, but I'm excited to see how they get this guy into the mix this year. If Ben Johnson was still there, I'd be even more excited, but I think Goff will utilize and love his Tesla, assuming it's not the Cybertruck. Then we've got Jags and the Dolphins. Stock up running back Ollie Gordon. Ollie only had 8 carries in this game, but the consensus from Dolphins fans is that he just looks like a running back. He averaged 5.4 yards per carry, and he also appears to be the answer Miami needs in short yardage situations. Great vision, he runs tough, and he's probably worked himself into an RB2 position. Stock down, Travis Hunter, who missed his 2nd preseason game as he deals with an upper body injury. The injury isn't considered serious, and Honestly, if you want him to play both ways for an entire season, the less reps he gets in the preseason, probably a good thing. But I fear this is an early sign of how hard it might be to become a legitimate two-way player in the NFL. Bills, Buccaneers, stock down, Shilo Sanders, who got ejected for throwing a punch. I think he took the term fighting for a roster spot a bit too literally, and it just didn't work. Stock up, though, also Shilo Sanders, who knew his brother had a bad game, and he did this just to try and take the attention off of his brother. That's real family shit right there. The Buccaneers then cut Shilo Sanders the next day, and the Toronto Argonauts of the Canadian Football League added him to their negotiating list, and they already have Shedeur Sanders right, so they could have both Sanders on their roster. I think watching both Sanders kids play in Canada has a greater than 0% chance of happening, which is pretty good versus what I would have told you a month ago. Stock up, Bills receiver Tyrell Shavers and his one-handed touchdown grab. Catches like this transcend coverage. And what I know about Shavers is the Bills coaching staff fucking loves this guy, and I think they need to have him on the final 53-man roster. Stock up, small men. Not only do we live longer, but we do cooler shit when we catch touchdown passes. Former Oregon Duck Tez Johnson, the lightest man in the NFL, took advantage of his playing time in Tampa. Tez was also perfect on the night, catching all 8 balls thrown his way for 58 yards and that touchdown. And with Jalen McMillan's neck injury keeping him out for half the season and Chris Godwin trying to ease back from his ACL tear, Tez might get a good amount of reps early this season. Niners, Chargers. The 49ers officially finalized the trade for former Commanders running back Brian Robinson Jr. Seeing Kyle Shanahan pair Brian Robinson and Ricky Pearsall together, 2 NFL players who've famously been shot in robbery attempts, makes me think he's about to give Plexico Burress a call to join their depleted receiving room. Speaking of weird injuries, stock up for Najee Harris, who says his eye is better after that 4th of July firework mishap. Sorry, Najee, even if it's healthy, I'm still gonna call you Lisa Left Eye Lopez all season long.
I seen a rainbow yesterday.
And last, but certainly also least, Raiders, Cardinals. But hey, there was an insane touchdown grab by Dante Thornton in this one. His stock is up. It looks like the 4th round receiver, Dante Thornton, is going to make the Raiders' final 53-man roster, which is unfortunate because he looks pretty good. He looks good. Should I be rooting for a man's entire life's dreams to end so my football team doesn't have to work so hard to beat his football team? Yes, that's exactly what sports are about. Aiden O'Connell ended a rough preseason with a broken wrist, so Las Vegas may be looking to add a backup quarterback. Hey, Pete Carroll, why don't you give Derek Carr a call? Do it, Pete.
Why don't you just put it in my hands? Why don't you just give it back to me?
Also, I'm starting to think Ashton Genty is going to be hard to tackle in the NFL, and I'm a little worried about the Raiders. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Don't forget our cursed shirts now available at benchwarmershop.com. Rachel worked really hard on this year's batch, so make sure you go check them out.